Hello everyone, this is Jason from Primetime Aquatics, and today we've got to get that wall cleared out that's going to have the 333 longs and the 240-gallon breeders. So we're going to take you along for that, show you how we troubleshoot it, show you how we plan for it in case you're wanting to build a fish tank wall yourself. So stay tuned. All right everyone, so now we need to get this area cleaned up and get ready to get the stands in. So stay tuned. Here we go. Alright, so let's take a look at what's going on. We have our space cleared out. So, wall's clean. We've got our floor. They're going to have to sweep that up and make it look a little nicer. The one thing that's going to be a little bit annoying is I don't think we have enough space between the carpet and the end of the wall for the stands. So we may have to pull that carpet towards the right a little bit, towards the other side of the basement. Unfortunately, we have all that couch, so that's kind of annoying. We're gonna have to move that over probably about 6 inches, and then we should be set. Next step is to build the wastewater system. Okay, so we've got this area cleaned out. I've also marked the floor with some orange tape to kind of figure out where the stands are going to be. So this area here is going to be the 33 longs. They're going to be triple stacked, and then that next square is going to be where the 40-gallon breeders are. So there's some things I got to think about. One, I thought I was going to have to run some air line up here above the tanks and tie in that corner. It turns out I don't. I had an epiphany, and that is there is actually an air line on the other side of this wall, and I can run the air line from that PVC through that little crack over there where the vents are in the ceiling. That should work out fine. If it doesn't, then I'll figure something else out, but I think it's going to work out okay. So the only thing I really need to put in place before the stands go in is the wastewater system. And I think it's going to start, I'm going to do the same thing we did with this wall over here. And in this wall, I'm not going to be able to really show it to you, but what I have are the tanks on the bottom. So we got these 29s, and please excuse this room. It is right now a complete mess after tearing down that wall. But there are some PVC sticking up vertically behind these 29s and behind those 10s. And then all we have to do is take our Python hoses, shove them in that PVC, and they don't come out. They just stay there, and it's been working out really well for us. So I think I'm going to do the same thing there, because what I don't like is, let me show you. I did this for the 55s, and I have a similar one if we look over here for the 150 and the 75s. I don't like the visibility, and it's working out great. Don't get me wrong. We got the holes drilled there. We can put the hose in for the water changing, and it works out fine, and it wraps around this entire wall. But then I changed it for these tanks because they were so low to the ground. I didn't think that was going to work. We weren't going to get the angle that we needed, and we wouldn't have. So that's why I went to the PVC that's just kind of vertically behind the 29s, behind the 10s. You stick the hose in, and then it carries the wastewater on the other side of that wall into the floor drain. So moral of the story is I'm going to probably do the same thing here, except I'll probably be able to end it right over here, about halfway where the 33 longs are going to be. I'll probably put one vertical pipe there and probably just one for the 40s, because I don't see us using more than 2 hoses at a time. And even if we did, we could fit more than 2 hoses in a single 1.5 inch or so PVC. And then I'm going to have to cut through the wall, I think, somewhere just on the right-hand side of this tape. The only problem is where these 2 pieces of paneling hit. It's not real brick, in case you didn't know. Right here, there's a 2x4, and so I got to be careful. I'm going to have to move that over this way, and I think that'll work out fine. So then the only other step is figuring out how many feet we have, and so I can just count the 1-foot tiles, and we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So that's 10 feet, and what I want is 1 inch of slope for every 4 feet. So I'm going to do about 2.5 inches along this wall, cut through at the appropriate height here to meet the PVC on the other side, and then tie in on the other side, and I'll show you that once we get going. But that's the plan. So I figure then this thing, on the PVC on the other side, standing about maybe 3 inches off the ground on the other side. So we need to be at a max height of right around 5 or 6 inches off the ground there. And then as we come down this way, it'll be around, 3.5 inches. Then I'll kind of tilt it down slightly to get onto the hose on the other side. Okay, so now we're planning the wastewater system. I've got everything I need, and what is really cool, if you are a fish room nerd, sometimes you find a bunch of spare stuff, and I did not have to go anywhere. I still had PVC elbows and T's and everything. So I've got my saw, or I've got my drill that's going to punch a hole through the wall. I've got some silicone. I've got my C-clamps, a bag full of extra parts. I've got an end cap, so this will be the end over here. I've got enough PVC, a couple of T's. I got an elbow. That's where it's going to go through the wall. And then, so it's basically going to come through, and you have to excuse the noise. I'm right next to the furnace. Right there, that's about where that dark circle is. That's 8 inches off the ground. Because over here, right now, where that connector is, that's going to be a T, and I'm going to T in right there, and that is going to take care of the wastewater system. All right, everybody, so let's see what we've built so far. This is the wastewater system as it's going to come out of the wall. Got the elbow, we got the 2 T's. Now I'm going to add a little bit of PVC above those T's so that I can slide the hoses into those areas. Okay everyone, so that is what we've got on this side of the wall. I just need to tie it in on the other side and we are done and the wastewater system is ready to go. We have about an inch of slope, which is more than enough to get things going. Those extensions, that's where the hoses are going to go into when we're cleaning the tanks. And if I ever wanted to make this an auto water change system, this would work just fine because we can run the hoses from the bulkheads right into here too. But so that's what it looks like, tied into the other side, and we are ready to roll. All right, and so here we have the tie-in on the other side of the wall. I just wanted to show you that real quick. It was kind of a pain over there getting that T set up because the other part of the wastewater system was already kind of hooked up into the floor, so it was a little bit more difficult getting that in than I had anticipated, but it worked out fine. And so now we are all tied in, ready to go. We'll water test it as soon as everything dries, just to make sure nothing is leaking. All right, so I've shown you this before, and if you're interested in how to build a stand, definitely check out my video, how to build a stand. But this is my plan for the 40-gallon breeders. So I just generally draw this out relatively simple. Sorry for all the shadows and everything, but not super high tech. I don't have like some computer system do it for me. I measure the size of the tank, and then I come up with dimensions that I want to have based on the stand height and the tank heights that I desire for that particular area. And it will change depending on the location. And so then I just write out the number of boards I need at each length. And so that's my plan for the 40-gallon breeder, double stand. And then here we have my plan for the 33-gallon long triple stand. So again, I just draw it out. It's kind of crude, but it has worked for all the stands that we have down here so far. And I write in the number of pieces I need at each particular length. And so here we have the 33 longs. Now this is the fun part. I got to figure out how many 2x4s I need, how much plywood I need. I've kind of taken to putting plywood under the tanks just because I like it for fish that dig. So if they're digging, I don't have light shining from the top of the tank below it into the tank above, and that's just, I just don't like that. And so here I'm going to need 23 2x4s. I mark out the sizes that I need here, and then I just mark out what I'm going to get per board. And this drastically cuts down on waste to kind of pre-plan it. So I've got all of the wood I need for both stands. I've got all the different sizes on the top, and then for each board what I'm going to get from a 96-inch board. And then I do the same thing with the plywood for the bottoms. And so that is my plan. And so when I go to the local hardware store, I know exactly how much wood I need. So now we come out here to the freezing cold garage. We made our trip to the hardware store. We have our 23 2x4s. We've got our plywood. And now it's just a matter of getting this stuff all cut up and making it look like fish tank stands, which is quite honestly my least favorite part of fish room stuff is building stands. I don't like it, but we're going to do it because it needs to get done. All right, everyone. So now that we've got the wall cleared out, we've got the wastewater system in, we are on our way to building stands, something I'm not looking forward to doing. And then after that, we'll get those tanks in, and we'll show you that as we get those tanks set up. You'll get to see that too. So if you like this video, share, subscribe, and we'll see you in the next one.